It's a British sex comedy film, and it's directed by Val Guest, who a lot of people would know him from having directed a bunch of Hammer films, and he did like the Quatermass Experiment and Quatermass 2, I think.
Yeah, he did that one also. I think it's Quatermass in the Pit.
Yes,
and he also directed The Day the Earth Caught Fire, which is a really fun disaster movie. So he has a pedigree behind it.
He has a pedigree before that, but this is the beginning of his slide, because he did Au Pair Girls, and then he more or less just cranked out Confessions, the Confession series, which
he did?
Which you may not be familiar with, but it started with Confessions of a Window Cleaner, and there's a bunch of stuff like that, and it stars Robin Asquith, who we saw in a film called Horror Hospital, which I was a fan of, and he just basically he puts his ladder against the window, he climbs up and he's like whoa, 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 whoa. Sees like a girl with her top off, and it's just
maybe this was Val Guest's passion, were these sex comedies, and then when he got a chance to make them, he was like, finally I can express myself in the artistic way that I've always wanted to.
I'm not sure about that, because I was looking up Val Guest, and it just seems that he was basically confused, because what I read was that he only chose to direct the Quatermass Experiment because when he was told about it, he thought he'd be doing a documentary.
So he's just like a confused man who doesn't know what's going on?
Yeah, like it's imagining himself one of these sort of befuddled British gentlemen,
oh my!
Yeah, who just sort of, I don't know. I mean, maybe by this point his soul had been crushed, and he just thought, I'll just crank out these bloody sex comedies and I'm done.
Because I have a family and I need to pay the bills, so just take your top off and rub your breasts.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Au Pair Girls. Now, I didn't even know what the word au pair meant, and I had to look it up when the movie began with some very daunty little tune.
They come from here, they come from there, no matter where they may come from, they're always welcome everywhere. Au pair.
You see them there, you see them here.
Au Pair Girls.
Yeah.
And I hope you like this song, because
It plays a lot.
Minutes, it plays for the first 6.5 minutes, and then every time there's a transition.
They come from here, they come from there, no matter where they may come from, they're always welcome everywhere. Au pair. Au pair.
You hear good tune though.
Yeah, it sets you up. You sort of think, I'm going to be in for a fun, enjoyable time.
I dare you to watch this entire video. No skipping ahead, no pausing, no opening another tab and letting this play in the background. I dare you to sit still. It's difficult for you, isn't it? You're becoming bored. Your brain is beginning to itch inside your skull, begging for a morsel of distraction from the internet. And you're holding it together for now, but the truth is, you're frightened. It's been so long since you've tried to focus like this that you don't know if you can do it anymore. And this video is boring, isn't it?
And to explain what the plot of this movie is, there's not much plot. It's basically 4 stories about au pair girls that go... they never do any au pairing, to be quite honest.
No, they really don't. There's a point in the movie as well where one of the characters is introduced some other characters' job, and she goes, "Oh, that's much better than being an au pair." And I was like, she hasn't even worked a single day yet. She's just turned up in the country.
So these 4 sexy women from places like Denmark,
Oh, yeah.
Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Germany again, maybe.
Oh, how you do?
Oh, we do fine. And me have car outside,
Yeah.
and you have baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them is supposed to be Chinese, but
Yes.
she's played by a woman who is Burmese British.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Yes, mother.
This is Miss, come here, dear. Lee, Nan Lee. It's a charming name.
Nice name. Not.
Yes, Mimi Lei.
A poke you. You like a licky dicky. I'm a kinda kinky. Wanna peek a pee-pee?
who appeared in a bunch of Italian cannibal movies.
Yep, later on, and then disappeared off the face of the earth, apparently.
Oh, she just resurfaced, but that's a whole other podcast. Now let's get into these sexy shenanigans, because these girls meet the people they're supposed to go, and then the story becomes kind of fragmented, where you jump from story to story. It's not an anthology film in the sense that you'll see the whole story play out, then it goes to the next one. They keep intercutting between both of them, but they're not commenting on each other or anything, and so we're going to tackle them story by story. So let's start off with probably I think it begins because it starts with a son visiting his father.
Yes, and the son is another guy who is like that guy, and will mean even less to anybody. The person who's playing the son in this segment is Richard O'Sullivan, who in the UK is famous for having been in the show Man About the House and then Robin's Nest. I remember Robin's Nest better. All this kind of stuff is well before my time. But British kind of culture is always kind of has sort of stuck in the 70s somehow, where people are like, you know, like Tommy Cooper or something like that, and people are like,
I'm just gonna give you like a dull, like glass eye expression because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Richard O'Sullivan basically played the main character in what would become Three's Company in the United States. So it started as Man About the House, sort of a beloved sitcom comedian, and here he is. And this film is actually before those shows.
So in Man About the House, did he hallucinate that every woman was naked like he does in this movie?
Well, no. But what's weird is he in this he arrives with his dad. His dad is like a businessman. His dad's like, hey, you've got to go and pick up the au pair. But I remember when he walks in, he's like to his dad, he's like, oh, what are you doing over? And he's like, well, I'm not like molesting the
I'm not having an orgy.
Oh, what the hell did you think I was doing? Having an orgy with Miss Fitch?
Yeah, and then it cuts to him touching the naked breasts of his secretary, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is the guy who's saying that is also a famous British actor who is in like Dad's Army and stuff. And I was like, whoa, the guy from Dad's Army is touching breasts.
So would it be like, for example, the star of Family Matters, like fondling a woman on screen?
Yeah, I mean, and it's just kind of a strange sort of reminder that at this point, early in the 70s, British culture was very, like, movies and stuff that a bit more open, more body, do you know what I mean? And then,
full frontal nudity.
Yeah, there's a lot of full frontal nudity in this movie, and as, I guess, the 70s went on, things become a bit more Puritan. There's the woman I would think of is this woman called Mary Whitehouse, famous
for the BBFC and the Video Nasties.
So there was this sort of moment, sort of interesting, like, key moment, it feels like in Britain, where things were almost sort of very European, you know, like nudity wasn't as a big a deal or whatever, like people would go and see these sort of sexy movies and then all sort of shut down pretty hardcore, you know. We also have the Hammer films, the horror, and it's also like, and that's kind of the slow death of the British film industry, so that all you can make is depressing movies about people in London doing heroin or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. But getting back on this plot.
Getting back on the plot. Yeah, so Stephen, who is the he has to go pick up the au pair. As he does this, he keeps imagining all the women he sees in the nudie, basically.
In the nutty?
Yeah, naked, you know.
In the nude?
Yeah, in the nude, in the nudie.
Nope, never heard it.
Okay, fair enough. But there's an amazing part where he imagines oiling up the au pair after he meets her, and he's got his top off, and he has the most amazingly weedy, like, British body that I just thought was so funny. Like, it was amazing. I was like, you gotta eat your Weetabix, man. You know, like, basically, he picks up the au pair, they get into the car, she's very, you know, flirty and all that.
Well, he tries to molest her at one point and runs his hand up her leg.
Maybe physical harassment.
Wow. You really tense today, Nancy.
Ow, Bill!
Sorry. You looked really tense.
You know, I really don't like it when you do that. Can you please stop?
I'll never stop, Nancy. Never.
But basically what happens is they get a burst tire, in the middle of nowhere because their house is in the middle
it's unclear where the house
Basically,
is.
this plot doesn't make a lot of sense. Burst a tire. He tries to flag a car. She flags a tractor down by basically showing all of her pants. They take the tractor to a barn.
They go to a farm afterwards.
Yeah, and basically the car gets towed or whatever. And in the meanwhile, they sort of run around in the barn and, you know,
have sex.
They don't have sex in the barn. They just sort of run around and are flirty with each other. Ultimately, ending in them getting covered in cold water because they fall into like the thing that cows drink water out of or something.
Yeah.
And then she like takes all of her clothes off. And the plot of this episode, this kind of episode of the film is, how can he get her clothes, you know, while also eventually having sex with her?
What's all this? You tell me, fuckstick.
Right?
And it's just like, why don't you just go home?
Yeah, he keeps giving reasons why they can't just go home. They're just like, we'll go here. So there's a segment where they go to a photographer friend's house
that he had only met the day before.
Which is another guy that the photographer's another guy. He's like from Are You Being Served, I think, which is a famous British comedy. Have you heard of this one?
Yes, I've heard of this one.
Okay, just checking, you know. And that one's famous for the character Mrs. Slocum, who's like an old woman and she has a cat and she's always like, oh, my pussy. Like that. She's always talking about pussy, guys. Everyone loves it. He goes to the photographer and the photographer dumps water on her and they run away from that.
And there's another naked woman there.
There's another naked woman there. That was probably like the funniest part of the movie for me for some reason because the comic actor playing the photographer had great timing. The other naked woman had good timing.
You've moved it. I told you to hold it.
Been holding a bleeding thing for 20 minutes.
I know you have, dear. But down here we see boobs. Up here we don't see boobs. We want them to look at the body bubble bath oil, Karen, not boobs.
And
this is just electrifying.
It's electrifying. Ultimately, basically his final plan is, and I'm going to point, she's not just in the car naked. She like has a blanket on. It's like he could like just get home to where she has to be and just be like, oh, just sneak you upstairs. You got a blanket on. It's not like she's going to walk in the house naked. No, he's like, what our plan is.
You see, my dad's secretary keeps a dress in her locker, like I do in mine.
You wear a dress?
How bloody hell. I also have some drink, a couch, and the rest of the evening for unfinished business.
So out you get, and we can make us... Oh, Christ. The key. I forgot. It was on the bunch I lost. We can't get in after all.
So what we do?
Well, we'll have to wait till the caretaker opens up in the morning, you know. Still give me time to have a shave and you time to tidy up. We'll just say you missed a plane.
But it is not true.
We can't tell him we spent the whole night together.
We'll go to the office. I will park there. We will get you a dress from the secretary and I'll get my clothes and then we'll do it on the couch in the office. Basically, that's his plan. But he's like, oh no, I forgot the keys for the office. You have to wait till the morning. So they do it in the car, which is just like one of those kind of, the car rocks and it's the end of the sequence. And like, I enjoyed the main character because I know him from other stuff. But again, this is like the level of the movie, right?
There's no plot. There's really nothing. Like
it's just mostly an excuse to have the women sort of run around in the nuddy.
Yeah.
But not really in like sexualized ways, particularly because all the women, not necessarily all the women, but the women are play quite innocent, right? So they're just like, I'm naked. It's just a thing that's happening.
Just like a baby.
I don't care, you know, wiggle, wibble, 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 you know, like, and like
what? One of us? One of us?
No. That's the sound of their breasts shaking.
The more you know. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically like they tried to find a bunch of ways to get the women have her clothes off, and it was just like, well, she'll go in water, and then they'll just run around in the mud for a while, right? So that's that story. Not much to recount other than there are many famous British people in it.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next story, which let's go with Mimi Lay.
What is that? Like it's gonna straighten somebody out. Man, you are so proud of your penis. What is up with that?
She arrives at a Gothic castle. couple of some kind.
Yeah, so she's an au pair who has for some reason been hired to au pair for the bloke who is like literally 25 years old, right? Now this guy I thought was interesting because I don't really know who this person is. I haven't really seen him in anything. Julian Barnes, but he's another jobbing actor who most recently was in Pacific Rim.
As what? Like the dad of the Australian guy?
No, as British UN representative.
Okay.
So basically he plays like a very simple, closeted young man, and the au pair is supposed to look after him or something, and it kind of goes the way you expect it to go, right?
Yep.
Which is that she like is attracted to him, he's attracted to her, but he doesn't know what he's doing, so he like plays the kissing game with her.
The kissing game? Do you like the kissing game?
What's that?
Peggy and Sarah and me often play it. It's easy, I'll show you. You have to close your eyes and guess how many fingers I'm holding up. All right? Go on, then close them.
How old are you? 4.5.
Just like, you say, how many fingers am I holding up? And the other person has to close eyes, otherwise this game would be far too easy. And she's like, I don't know, 3, and she's like, oh, I win, and gives her a very chaste kiss, and then she manufactures it so they do some heavy makeouts, and he's like, oh, I don't know what's going on in my trouser area, and runs away. You know, it's like that sort of stuff. But what I thought was interesting about this sequence is, it's not body at all. There's no like bums out and all that business, right?
I guess.
So it's, it's not body, it's not like funny.
It's not like, oh man, I'm gonna keep this in, and it's gonna be the most annoying thing ever. You're just gonna hear like people laugh.
Yeah, everyone hates that. I was like, at this point, there's the body segments, but in this part, it's almost, and I'm giving it more credit than it should get. It's almost kind of sweet, right? Like it's like, oh, we can never be, like in that she's like clearly cares for him, but he's immature, and they're gonna have sex, but it's just like. It's not, you're not like, whoa, rubbing your legs, they're going to start doing it. You're kind of like, oh, they're going to have one of those very kind of erotica style sex scenes. And I was like, is this like this segment for, and we've talked before about the idea that some of these movies are like the movies that you would imagine Travis Bickle would like take Sybil Shepherd to. Like, so the kind of movie that you would take a partner to see because you want to see something a bit raunchy that might get her interested in, a wee bit raunchiness, but at the same time you don't want to scare her off. Yeah. Right? Like, this is my idea of what men in the 70s were thinking. I'm not implying that this is a
So you think that this is a movie that you could be like, I can take my girlfriend to, because it's not that offensive, it's pretty innocent.
Yeah, and then it has some stuff in it for the ladies, like the romantic part between the
mentally challenged
young man in a castle and the beautiful Asian lady. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say that that's like necessarily like gonna pan out for anybody or ever did pan out. But I actually found that in the sequence, I actually thought it was like pretty well done. Like Val Guest definitely can direct a movie. Yeah, so I felt like this one actually worked, and it just kind of ends with her like taking her kit off. Them doing it, and then her being like, "Now I must leave."
Yes, I've taught you my lesson, and it can go no further than that. And then she leaves.
She's gone. What? Oh my God, she used me. I was used. Cool.
And it's like, it's fine. Like it's
all right. Yeah, you'll forget it. It's out of your mind. And then you have the sequence with I don't remember. I think she's Dutch because she's the one who's the most like ooh la la.
There's TV, Ariel. It's good.
Oh, Anita Sector.
Yeah, Anita Sector, which you surmise you think is a joke that if you say very fast,
it's like I need to sext her or something.
I need to sext her
because they were all sexting in the 70s in the UK. No one had like you from your rotary phone. Because actually we did forget to mention that the main character in the I'm Naked in a Car story is called Randy.
Yes, Randy, which leads to a joke. So am I.
Yeah,
Hey-o.
Exactly. Anita Sector is like she is like the craziest character because like she basically arrives at the house and just strips all of her clothes off,
full nude,
and it just walks her, and she is probably the most naked woman in this movie.
Yes,
by far. Like she wanders her naked. She goes for a bath and a shower at the same time, which that happened in one of the Swedish movies we watched, right?
Yes, it did.
And we discussed it, running a bath and also having a shower. So apparently that's a done thing in like Sweden or something.
Yes,
which is just very wasteful of water. which I would say is a British person.
One of the British person does say it in the movie.
Yes, because the father of the house or whatever comes in and he's like, ooh, because the ceiling's all wet.
Hilda, there's a leak in the bathroom.
And he comes upstairs and slips on the water all over the bath and he's like, what the bloody hell? This woman is fully naked in my blooming house.
Who's that? Who are you? What are you doing in my bathroom?
Alfred, your blood pressure.
Never my blood pressure. I'm insured against that. I'm not insured against internal flood.
Alfred, this is Anita, our new au pair.
Oh. Pair.
Your breasts.
Yeah,
and,
like
laughing.
And laughing. Like it's like pretty intense. Like, I mean, it's intense, let's just say. And then there's like a sequence where she's like having to like mop the water off the ceiling or whatever, and the camera's just like looking right up her arse, and I was like, bloody hell.
Man, I could go for a power fuck right now.
Like, it was, I mean, this movie was of all the movies we have seen, and we've seen a bunch of grimy sexploitation movies, this is like the nakedest.
Yeah, I would completely agree. It's definitely the nakedest.
Like, if you're, like, even though I've just said, like, the previous segment is, like, for the ladies or whatever, like, if you were wanting a grimy good time at the movies, like, none of the other ones are
good times.
Are good times. This one, you would get a grimy good time, you know? And I said the women aren't even, what's interesting is none of them are doing anything sexual, really, while they're naked. They're just, like, wandering about in the nutty. Like,
you can let your imagination go wild and paint your own picture.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, so she showers, and then Mike Baldwin from Coronation Street shows up to take her to the casino. He's kind of a dick, I guess.
Poor Malcolm. Maybe I'd try. I think I will.
I'm working a system.
Because he's like just gambling and being boring, and she's like, oh, tack tack, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because he says tack tack a lot in the movie. And then grimy Sheik turns up, who looks like, I guess I would say, a dirty Omar Sharif.
The numbers 7, 8, and 9 are the flower numbers of the stars. If I may, I would like to place them for you.
Oh, that he just took.
Then I shall untake it when he returns.
Scary guy over there.
He's a very scary guy.
Basically, yeah, dirty Omar Sharif shows up and he's like, hello, I'd like to have sex with you, please, and I will do this by making a big bet for you on 7...
Is he supposed to be charming? Because he's pretty, like, skeezy in the role.
What is ordained is ordained. 8. It is one of your numbers.
I don't think he's supposed to be really very charming, but he's just supposed to be like a comedy character, I guess, because he's foreign, lol, you know, like that's like... But basically he shows up, he bets on 7, 8, and 9 for her, on extreme chance he manages to win a lot of money for her and just gives it to her. Then Mike Baldwin's like, what's going on here? And just leaves. I guess because he's like, I'm out of this film, it's not going to do my...
I got the paycheck.
I'm not going to do anything better than this. And basically she goes home with him, takes a bath in the nuddy again. She meets some handmaidens, and then jumps up and down on his bed for a while, and gets so excited jumping down on his bed, she like strips off her clothes again, like in a sort of like bizarrely childish way. And he's like, oh yes, I'm gonna get some of that. And she finds out what time it is. She's like, oh no, they told me to be home by a certain time.
Yes, but what is time when one is so young?
Mr. Howard, he very cross. And Mrs. Howard in bed. I'm in very big trouble.
So he drives her back. Her bags are on the outside the house. So she's been fired. That's literally
the end of the story.
That's like literally the whole story. It's, I mean, this one above all the other ones is mostly about her being naked in front of you. Like, she is mostly naked, you know?
It's like her body was a magnet and the clothes was the opposite. Or, no, the same. And they just
they just pop off at any minute, you know? So, and again, you know, like, it's fine. It's like, it's a vaguely amusing sequence, like the one in the car, you know, with like some funny parts. And it's, you know, sufficiently, again, it's not erotic in any way, but like if you were out to see naked ladies, like, it's, you know, you're getting your money's worth, right?
So if you go out with your girlfriend in the 70s to this movie, are you like, we want to see something with naked ladies in it? Are you like, we go to a comedy, and then when this happens, are you like, oh, let's get out of here?
I don't know, actually. I mean, I assume that, like, people know what they're getting into.
Yeah, people don't know what movies they're going to go see now. So even back then,
it's true because I've never seen any of the Confessions of a Window Cleaner series or anything. And my assumption was that they weren't super porny. You know, they were just mostly like, you know, whoop, 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 rubbing the window and seeing ladies and like falling over and then like going to have sex with them. But then like the husband comes in the house and he's like, oh no,
goes out the same window
and all that. But now I'm kind of like, maybe they were like quite a lot of full frontal and all that. I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I assume that people were just more permissive at this point in time. You know, like,
I mean, if it's 70, like, you're not going to see this on television.
No.
There's no VHS, so you see it in the theater or nowhere else.
Yeah, and I mean, as I say, when I imagine these movies being shown in the, you know, in North America or Canada by like, you know, Canon, who'd have been distributing it. I imagine them playing in like grimy porno theaters, but in the UK, I just imagine them sort of playing in the average cinema. You know, like just like the average sort of grimy, because cinemas are grimy anyway at that period of time. But maybe late or something.
And this is a period too where there's probably just a lot more cinemas than there are now. Where like now it's like it feels like there's a lot of cinemas, but in the 70s there were just way more because there was just more stuff coming out, and it's the only place to see it.
Yeah, I mean. Cinema, there was like 10 times as many cinemas as there are now, right? It's something like that. And yeah, I can just imagine younger people who are like, you know, chancing their arm on a date going to see something like this. You know, and as I said, it has the more romantic stuff that I suppose you could probably focus on, and the sexy stuff is played for a laugh. So you're not like, I'm taking you to a porno. It's more just like, well, it's funny, right?
Played for a laugh. That's a great transition into the next story, which is the German one.
Yeah, so this one is our... How can I put this? This one is our Joe Sarno segment, I guess?
Or our Wicked Die Slow segment.
Yeah, I mean, basically, a German lady... She is the most chaste of our au pairs.
A virgin.
A virgin, indeed. But she goes to a house where there's like a swinging chick.
Who doesn't want to miss the freak out of the year.
Ever heard of Ricky Strange? Naturally. Well, you're going to meet him tonight. Tonight? What's the family? All taken care of. Now let's choose your gear. Christy, you don't really wear these. Yeah? You're having me on. No. I don't understand. They're just guaranteed passion killers, that's all. Hey, is your boyfriend kinky? That'd be wild.
Yeah. She's going to go see the big rocker, played by, I'm sure it's someone semi-famous.
No, this guy was just I think he was in some other sex comedies in the 70s. It wasn't anyone particularly meaningful. Yeah, but she's like to the German, she's like, is your boyfriend kinky? That would be wild. You know, there's a lot of like... I guess it was like the filmmakers were like, well, it's 70s. We should throw in some 70s stuff. So she takes her to like, I don't know, one of the streets in London, gets her some sexy clothes, some more nudity there.
Yep.
And then takes her to the Freakout, I guess, where she meets an actor who you felt that you recognized, but whom I can't really place in anything specific where I would be like, oh, you know him from this, you know him from that. But he was in V for Vendetta and a bunch of other stuff, just as like, you know, an old British man, basically, you know, so you just know him from stuff. But he plays, I can't remember his name, but basically just sort of a creepy guy that hangs around with them all. And the idea is that the young, happening, hippie chick has brought this German bird over to see Ricky Strange, basically as a sex gift for Ricky, I guess.
Yeah, Ricky the Rocker, the guy who they come see him play, who sings a song that goes kind of like, I love you so much.
Baby, when I feel your touch, I know I cannot get too much. Take me now, for now I know, no matter what, I want you so. My baby, I'm in love with you. My baby, I'm in love with you.
We come back to him. He's still singing that one song.
My favorite, he has kind of I guess he's got kind of that sort of like Mick Jagger thing going on, like with his hips shaking and all that.
Take me by the tongue and I'll know you. Kiss me till you're drunk and I'll show you all the moves like Jagger. I've got the moves like Jagger. I've got the moves like Jagger.
That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright. Woo!
What he's supposed to be playing off of. But he has, like, what's funniest about the sequence is he has two fans. There's just keeps cutting to two women in the audience who are doing the least kind of believable, like, watching the Beatles, holding their hair and screaming thing, where I just was like, it's like, does he have any other people who like him? I mean, it's just, you keep...
Nope, just those two.
Just those two, and they eventually run on stage. But yeah, basically what happens is, again, there's not very much plot here, but the other girl takes her back and is like, you should have sex with my boyfriend now. And she's like, oh, but I'm a virgin. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
9, Ricky.
9 what?
Is not good.
They've been kidding you, Chica. It's great.
And then she basically gets sexually assaulted by the rocker.
And then the other guy
comes in and sexually assaults her.
Also.
Set to some comedy music, just in case he didn't want to take it too seriously.
Yeah, because he's like a comic relief. But I thought this sequence was really weird.
Oh, you did?
Not just because we've seen a bunch of these grimy segments. Are you
getting desensitized to it? You're like, that's just the way life is.
No.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's just weird because after this happens, the comic relief character, he's like, oh, why are you crying or whatever. Afterwards, she's like, oh, it was my first time and I hate Ricky or whatever for like, because he's out having sex with the other bird at this point.
Oh, please, Liebchen. I know I wasn't much good, but it's not your fault.
I thought I like him very much. No.
Good. Well, just leave it like that. You've made the royal couch, put it in your diary and forget it.
And he's incredibly understanding and nice to her. He talks her through it, and he's like, oh, you know, these things happen, but not like
even though he just raped her.
Rape. That's a rape. This is what raping is.
Yeah, I mean, like, we don't really see that happen. Like, I'm not gonna make excuses for this guy, you know, but like in the context of the film, like, he's like, you know, he's really apologetic. He says, you know, you get a rest now. I will sleep on the couch. I'll protect you. I mean, it's not like...
Come and get some rest. And don't worry about me. I'll be faithful old Rover at the foot of your bed.
Thank you.
It's kind of weird. It's like,
yeah, it is weird.
Because again, it's the situation of us as modern viewers butting against 70s mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like, you can sort of take back what you've just done if you're quite nice. Mm-hmm. There's this happens all the time in movies where it's like, you know, the man takes what he wants and then he feels bad about it or something.
Yeah.
Or it turns out actually it was okay. You know, like and it's really awkward and wrong, and it definitely does. This film is like fairly jolly and
it's a weird clash of tone with everything else that's going on.
Yeah, so I don't really know where he was going with this part of it, but like, I mean, it basically just ends where she's like, I'm gonna quit my job and go.
Yeah.
You know, like.
So if you've been keeping track, every au pair girl has quit their job.
Yeah. So actually,
except for
the first one, the one in the car, because we forgot to mention that obviously the guy's father comes back
and she gets fired.
So they've all been fired or lost their jobs or whatever, mm-hmm. and they all go back to the agency, mm-hmm. and then the crazy, almost always naked Swedish or Danish one comes back, and she's like, "Oh, tack, everyone has job."
Hi, Anita. No trouble with your family? Oh, yeah, I'm out. No. Yeah, but it's good. I out and I in. And they also in if they out. Slowly, girl. More slowly. No, more slowly. Come quickly. Come with me.
And the women in the office is like, whoa.
And then her top pops off. That doesn't happen, but.
And then it turns out that the Sheik has just, I guess, kidnapped them all. because the movie ends with like them all going into the car, and she's like, I'll have to get references, and he's like, yeah, whatever, and just drives off. And then there's like the credits are over a plane flying away, I guess, of them being taken to like whatever imaginary Middle Eastern country this
where
guy's
they will
from.
be trapped and grow old before they are killed because they are not pretty enough anymore. Like,
yeah,
how is it supposed to be it's not a happy ending.
Well, apparently, I looked up. There was supposed to be a sequel.
Really? With the same characters? There was different.
It said a proposed sequel, Glamour Incorporated, was also to have been directed by Val Guest, for the same productions, but they didn't go into production. I'd like to mention actually that the production company for this, although obviously Canon is who distributed it, it's Canon, was Tagon, who you'd remember specifically from Witchfinder General.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So they got behind... Weren't they two porno guys, I believe? I remember reading about them in a biography I wrote about Michael Reeves, the director of Witchfinder General, that they were, like, very specific, like, not in their field kind of stuff, and that's how Michael Reeves got the money.
Yeah, much like Canon, as a distributor, they just picked up loads of porny stuff and put it out. So later on, there's all kinds of stuff like... Sex with the Stars, Come Play With Me Too, Emmanuel, Queen Bitch, Maybe Millington's World Striptease Extravaganza, which sounds like the type of thing Alan Partridge would be fronting, But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, at this period of time, there were lots and lots of jobbing and production companies and distributors across the world doing this sort of thing. Just trying to pump out movies that would fill up the hundreds of theaters that were out there.
Yeah.
Like...
They need nude bodies and they're gonna put them on screen.
Pretty much.
Does this make it into the canon?
No.
No.
It doesn't. It's not an unpleasant watch.
No, it's not. Well, give it that. It's not a kitchen sink drama.
Yeah, I found it totally watchable and fun at parts. I laughed out loud at a few moments because there are good comic actors in this movie. That's one thing. If for some obscure, strange reason you're a student of British sitcom actors of the 1970s and you're like, God, I really want to know what all the actors from Are You Being Served?
Where did they come from?
Yeah, where did they come from? Dad's Army and all this stuff. What other things that they've been in? This would be a movie to watch if you were also really interested in seeing women in the 1970s naked.
And very pretty women's at that. But like, I mean, if you somehow used up all your pornography and like you're like, I've seen everything.
Yeah. It's like, it's... Yeah, if you're done, you've experienced all the pleasures this world has to offer, and you don't want to open the Hellraiser box quite yet. And this is the movie for you.
All right. My name's Justin the Clue.
That's Matthew Kumar.
Thanks for listening.